Is currently battling a wave of unexplained respiratory illnesses in children. Images posted online and in state media are showing crowded waiting rooms and hospital wards. And in some places, parents say classes are canceled because so many kids are just out sick. Here to explain is Fox 11's medical contributor, Dr. Michael Daignault. Good to see you.
Hello.
Hope you had a great holiday weekend. How concerned should parents be here in the U.S. given what's going on in China?
Well, if you remember 4 years ago, the Chinese government and the WHO were both criticized for their lack of transparency and not coming out very forward with what was going on with the start of COVID in China at that time. And so the WHO was much more ahead of it this time, trying to get information from China on what's going on. And so what we're seeing is not surprising. You have to remember, this is the first winter in China since they completely relaxed all the restrictions, and they had such a brutal lockdown relative to what we had in the United States. And so that's not surprising to see a lot of adenovirus, influenza, and RSV. What is surprising is they're seeing a rash of mycoplasma pneumonia. So it's particularly in children, as you mentioned. That's what we call walking pneumonia here. And when you go to the doctor, you go to urgent care, and we tend to overprescribe azithromycin, that popular Z-Pack that a lot of patients even will request of us sometimes. So I think China is struggling with a little bit of the antibiotic resistance at that time, and that's why we're seeing such a spread of mycoplasma in particular.
Okay, well, as you predicted, you've been really busy in the ER. What are the common ailments that you're seeing?
Right, so as we expected when we talked last week, we saw a lot of accidental cuts from cooking and especially slicing those avocados. A lot of just overindulgence, unfortunately, like people ate too much, came in with abdominal pain, people drank too much, a lot of accidental trauma and things like that. And then, of course, there were, people that came in from out of town and saw their older relatives that hadn't seen them for a while, and they didn't think that they looked as well as they did a year ago, and they brought them to the ER for that as well. So we were very busy over the last 4 days.
Okay, so you've crafted some do's and don'ts. So if you have to go to the emergency room, do's and don'ts. We're going to start with the don'ts. Don't wait it out. What do you mean by that?
Well, particularly when we talk about chest pain, or if you're having a stroke. So chest pain, you're having chest pain, shortness of breath, don't wait to go to the ER to get an EKG, because time is heart, and there are critical interventions that we can do, like bringing you to the cath lab to put a stent in if you have a clot. Same thing with the stroke. The longer you wait, the harder it is for us to treat that stroke and reverse that ischemia on the brain. So it's really important to not wait on those particular symptoms.
Do not call ahead.
Right, so this is our big pet peeve for us. I mean, if you're able to pick up the phone and call the ER and ask what the wait time is, you probably don't have a life or limb-threatening emergency. In that case, I'd rather have you call your primary doctor or go to the urgent care the next day. Okay,
telehealth is a good option too. Don't assume coming in an ambulance means you get to go first.
Oh, right, so this is a big one for us, and so this is why we have triage in place. We have a triage nurse that will meet you even if you come by ambulance and determine your severity. And so a lot of patients, when they find out by calling, for example, that there's a long wait, they will still call 911 and thinking that they're going to get into a room faster, and that's not the case. We will re-triage you to the waiting room if your condition is not as severe.
Okay, now on to the do's. Do bring a list.
Right, so I love when patients come in with a written list or typed up, whatever you can do it, however you can do it that's legible. Don't assume, quote unquote, the information is in your computer, because even though we have electronic medical records, these are not integrated across hospitals. We don't have all this information. So if you have a list of your medications and the doctors that you use, it's really helpful for us.
Do focus.
Right, so a lot of people come in and they say, I'm here for chest pain, abdominal pain, headache, and I want you to do this and that. And so we're very crowded, especially over the winter season. So before you come, really think, what is the main reason you're coming to the ER, and try to come up with a one sentence about what's bothering you the most.
Do prepare.
Right, so you never know what's going to happen, and a lot of people come in and they don't expect a long wait, their phone dies, and so you really want to bring a charger, something to read. And then if you think you're going to potentially have to stay overnight, you want to bring a change of clothes, you want to bring some snacks and some water as well, because it's a long wait out there these days.
It's like when you go on a road trip.
Right.
Do talk code status.
Right, so this is really important, especially when you visit your older relatives this season. You want to ask them, okay, like worst case scenario, if something happens, you get really sick, you have a heart attack or a cardiac arrest, what do you want the doctors to do? Do you want them to perform CPR? Do you want them to put you on mechanical ventilation? It's really important that we know that information ahead of time, because when you come in and your older relative is really sick and in severe distress, we can't ask them. You're not present. Family's not present. We have to figure out what to do very quickly. And so oftentimes we will just act and do the utmost, but then we find out later that a patient did not want extreme measures. They wanted to pass peacefully. So it's a really important conversation to have with relatives this season.
Communication is key.
Absolutely.
Dr. Michael Daignault, that was wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right.